everybody, what's happening? Welcome to today's live stream. I'm Brian K, and yes, it's been a while since I've been out here. I've been all kinds of crazy things going on, but the good news is, hey, the Galaxy Online Guitar Studio is up and running, which is where I'm coming from right now for today's live stream, and we're going to talk today about some cool blues guitar rhythm tips and technique, okay, that you can pull into your playing and sound like a badass blues god, rhythm guitar boss next time you go to the open mic or the blues jam. It's not hard to do, and I'm going to show you just how to do this. But look, if you dig the content that I'm bringing out here, right, you like the videos, you like the things that I talk about in my videos, share with friends, let them know about the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, okay, and also check out my links, because there's stuff in the links that help me support the channel. It helps me keep bringing all this content out here, okay. Links to the studio here, take lessons with me, to my courses. I have a link to the store for the courses, and with that, let's just get down to what's happening today. Today is a key of G kind of day, okay. We're in the key of G today, and we're going to be looking at a rhythm guitar technique that we can pull in that gets out of everybody's way, right? Because you're in a band situation, you're at the blues mic. There's probably going to be another guitar player there, maybe a couple of guitar players, right? Keyboard player, and we, as the awesome, cool rhythm guitar god, blues dude that we are, right? We want to make it sound better. We don't want to get in anybody's way. So the way to do that is to take a less is more approach, okay? Like less notes. There's already going to be, chances are, other people playing big, fat, full types of chords, like the piano player and maybe the other guitar player or guitar players that may be at the mic or at the jam, right? So they're all going to be playing like, we're in a 12-bar blues in the key of G, so we're looking at G chords, G7s, maybe G dominant 7 kind of downtown thing, right? And C7, your 4 chord, and then a D7 for the 5 chord, like a 1-4-5, 12-bar thing. So other guys are playing big chords. And they're playing all these like big 6-string, 6-note chords. So what do we do to make it sound really cool and hip and get out of the way? This is what you do. Here's the blues rhythm god move, right? You start taking pieces of the chord, and what we're going to be looking at particularly are going to be the 5th and dominant 7th, or the 3rd and dominant 7th of the chord, right? To imply, like in this case, here's a G7, a big old G7 chord, right? The bar chord we all know and love. And I'm playing all 6 strings, so it's a big chord. A lot of harmonic information, right? A lot of harmonic stuff going on here, all these intervals. So what do we do to make this sound like a G7, but it gets out of the way and it makes it sound better, and it's going to add to the rhythm? Well, we're going to take, in this case, we're going to look at the dominant 7 and the major 3rd of this G7 chord, which happen to live on the D and the G string, and the dominant 7 is your index finger here at the 3rd fret of that D string, and the major 3rd for the chord is going to be your 2nd finger here at the 4th fret of the G string. And that's all we're playing, are those 2 notes right there. And for this chord, you want to say things kind of Spartan. You just want to maybe come in from a half step below. We've talked about this in some of the other lessons I have out here, right? Like coming in half steps. Slide right on in there. You can do it from a half step above and slide down. Go both ways. Right? So we're looking at those 2 notes for like the 1 chord, the G7 chord. And for the other 2 chords, let's look at the 5th and the dominant 7 and the 3rd and the dominant 7, because you can go between them, right? And it's really easy to do because they're all right off in the same position. And these are all coming out of the big chord shapes that like here's a C7, right? Bar chord. know, here at the 3rd fret, the C note's the root note on the A string right there. We got the big old C7 bar chord, right? Which we know if we move that up 2 frets is your 5 chord for the D7 bar chord, right? That chances are one of the other guitar players and the keyboard guys are playing voicings very similar to this with lots of notes. So we want to play less notes because we're hip and we're cool. We want it to sound better, and we want to make everything sound just better. So we don't need all the harmonic cluster, you know, all the clutter. We want it to open it up, and this will open it up even though the other guys are playing the big chords, right? So for this, all I'm doing is I'm going to look at the 5th and the dominant 7 of this C chord, C7 chord in this case, right? Where our 5th fret of the D string is going to be the 5 of this chord, and the 3rd fret of the G string is where the dominant 7 lives for this chord, and just those 2 notes. The 3rd and the 5 is simple. It's all in the same position. You leave your dominant 7 with the index finger here at the 3rd fret of the G string, and you just simply go ahead and fret the B string up at the 5th fret, and you have the 3rd and the 7 for that C7 chord. Just those 2 notes, right? So you have the 5th and the 7, dominant 7, and you have the 3rd and the dominant 7. And these are major chords, so the 3rds are all major, okay? These 2 voicings work for the 5 chord. You just, right, cruise it up 2 frets, and you got the 5 and the dominant 7 of the D7 chord here, with the, you know, 7th fret of the D string and the 5th fret of the G string for the 5th and the 3rd. I mean the 5th and the dominant 7. And then if you skip a string, stay up at the 7th fret on the B string, you have the major 3rd, and on the B string, 7th fret, and the dominant 7 at the 5th fret of the G string. You have just those 2 notes. So the 5th and the 7, dominant 7, and the 3rd and dominant 7, and they're major 3rds, right? So those are the notes we're looking at. I have a loop here. I'm going to throw on like a blues, a 12 bar, okay? That goes through the cycle. So you can hear what's going on with this. Right now I'm going to play them kind of Spartan. I'm not going to do a whole bunch because the rhythm's already kind of full, right? So we just want to lay back and just pepper these things in there. And this is going to make the rhythm sound even cooler when you're in the setting of the blues mic, right? So here goes the rhythm, right? G, C, G, and they're all 7 chords, right? C7, G7, right? Then the last 4 bars, D7, C7, G7, and then the turnaround, right? Just pepper these in there. Just let them ring out a lot of times, right? Or cut them quick. Less is more, right? Go between the 3rds and the 5ths in these chords, right? You can get a lot of mileage out of the 4 and the 5 chord, because you could do the 3rd and the 5th on the same position. So take that tidbit right there with you to the next blues jam or the open mic. Now, the more you get used to doing this, the more you could start to look at other intervals in the chord. And you can start saying some more information like, 13 chords or 9 chords, that kind of stuff. And that just comes down to knowing where the intervals live inside the chords, okay? So, with that said, that's it for today's live stream. Really good to come back to you today. It's been a while, but hey, I'm happy to be up and running here at the Galaxy Online Guitar Studio, where I do private lessons and I make videos like this live stream for the good people, all my people that love me out here on YouTube. I know you love me. I love you too, okay? So look, man, I'll be back next time real soon with another cool blues jam survival technique. And until then, stay awesome.